The Forest of Vanishing Paths. Feeling lost. Let me ask you something quietly. Have you ever felt as though everyone else received a map while you were handed only a compass that never seemed to point anywhere? Have you ever watched people move confidently through their lives, choosing roads, building homes, chasing dreams, while you stood at a crossroads, unable to explain why every direction felt both right and wrong at the same time? And have you ever wondered whether being lost is truly a mistake, or whether it might be something else entirely? Something hidden, something necessary, something waiting to teach you a lesson that could never be learned on a straight road. Tonight's story is about a traveler who spent many years searching for a destination, only to discover that what he truly needed was not a place to arrive, but a way to see. So settle in and allow the story to unfold like a lantern being lit in a dark forest. There once lived a man named Elias. From the outside, his life appeared ordinary. He worked, he smiled when expected, he answered questions with practiced certainty. And every morning he woke up telling himself the same thing: soon I will figure it out. Soon he would discover his purpose. Soon he would know where he belonged. Soon he would feel what everyone else seemed to feel: direction, meaning, certainty. But the years passed, and soon never arrived. Instead, Elias felt as though he was walking through a fog no one else could see. Whenever he chose a path, a career, a goal, a relationship, he found himself questioning it. Not because it was wrong, but because something inside him whispered, there must be another way. So he changed directions, again and again and again. Each new road began with hope. Each ended with doubt. Over time, he grew exhausted, not from failure, but from searching, because searching became heavier than carrying. And one evening, after a long day pretending he knew where he was going, Elias wandered beyond the edge of town, past the last houses, past the fields, past the roads he knew, until he reached a forest unlike anything he had ever seen. Moonlight drifted between silver leaves. The air seemed strangely still, and hanging from the branches of every tree were hundreds of lanterns, each glowing softly, each swaying without wind. At the entrance stood a wooden sign. It read, "The Forest of Vanishing Paths. Enter only if you are truly lost." Elias laughed quietly. "If that is a requirement," he said, "then I belong here more than anyone." And so he stepped inside. The moment he crossed the boundary, the path behind him disappeared. Not faded, not hidden, gone, as though it had never existed. A ripple of fear moved through him, but there was nowhere to return, only forward. So he walked. The forest seemed endless. Every trail divided into 3, then 5, then 10. Every direction looked promising. Every direction looked beautiful. Every direction seemed meaningful. He chose one. After an hour, it vanished beneath his feet. He chose another. It vanished too. A third, gone. A fourth, gone. Day after day, the same thing happened. Every path disappeared eventually. Every choice dissolved. Every certainty crumbled. Weeks seemed to pass, perhaps months. Time behaved strangely there. Elias grew frustrated, then angry, then hopeless. Finally, standing in a clearing beneath a sky of drifting lanterns, he shouted, "Why does every road disappear?" The forest remained silent. Then a voice answered behind him. "Because roads are not what you think they are." Elias turned. An old woman stood there. She wore a cloak stitched from pieces of moonlight sky. Tiny stars shimmered within its fabric. In her hands she carried a lantern unlike the others. Its light was not golden. It was blue. Deep and calm. Like distant oceans. "Who are you?" Elias asked. The woman smiled. "I am the keeper of lost things." She led him through the forest. As they walked, Elias noticed strange objects hanging from the trees. Thousands of them. Old dreams, abandoned ambitions, forgotten identities. A crown labeled, "The person I thought I should become." A sword labeled, "The life everyone expected." A mask labeled, "The version of me that earned approval." Everywhere he looked, the branches were heavy with discarded selves. "Whose are these?" Elias asked. "Everyone's." The keeper touched the mask gently. "People believe they are lost because they have not found the correct path." She paused. "But most are lost because they are carrying paths that were never theirs." The words settled deeply inside him. Yet he did not fully understand. Not yet. Eventually they reached the heart of the forest. There stood a tower made entirely of mirrors. Thousands upon thousands of mirrors. No two identical. Some reflected him as a child, some as an old man. Some showed lives he had never lived. Some showed futures that never happened. The keeper handed him a blue lantern. "Climb. What will I find?" "The thing you have been searching for." So Elias entered. Upward he climbed, floor after floor, mirror after mirror, reflection after reflection. Each showed a different version of himself. The successful version, the admired version, the wealthy version, the wise version, the venture version, the fearless version, the perfect version. At first he was fascinated, then overwhelmed, then saddened, because every reflection represented a life he might have lived, a person he could have become. And for each one he felt the same ache, the ache of roads not taken, the ache of possibilities he left behind, the ache of wondering whether he had chosen wrongly. Again and again, until he reached the top. There he found one final mirror, covered by cloth. His hands trembled as he pulled it away, and what he saw shocked him. Nothing. No reflection, only emptiness. A blank surface. He stared, confused, angry, disappointed. Then he noticed words appearing across the glass. Slowly, one by one, they read, "You are not lost." He frowned. Then more words appeared. "You have been looking for a final version of yourself." More words. "There isn't one." His breath caught. The mirror continued. "You believe life is a maze with a correct exit. It is a river. You are supposed to move. You are supposed to change. You are supposed to outgrow who you were." The lantern in his hand glowed brighter. And suddenly, Elias understood something he had never understood before. All his life, he had treated uncertainty as evidence that something was wrong. He believed confident people possessed secret knowledge, a hidden map, a guaranteed destination. But now he saw the truth. Most people were simply walking, learning, adjusting, changing, flowing. No one possessed the complete map, not because it was hidden, because it did not exist. The map was being drawn beneath their feet, one step at a time. For a long while, Elias stood there in silence, feeling the years of tension begin to loosen. Not disappear, just loosen. Like knots finally realizing they no longer needed to hold so tightly. The fear of choosing wrong, the fear of wasting time, the fear of becoming the wrong person, the fear of not knowing. One by one, they began to dissolve, because he finally understood something profound. A path disappearing does not mean it was the wrong path. Sometimes it simply means it carried you exactly where you needed to go. And then its work was finished. When Elias descended the tower, the keeper was waiting. "You saw it," she said. He nodded. Tears shimmered in his eyes. "All this time," he whispered, "I thought being lost meant I had failed." The keeper smiled. "No." She pointed toward the lantern hanging above. "Those who are truly lost never question where they are." Elias looked up. The lantern glowed like stars. "Then what does it mean to be lost?" The keeper's smile deepened. "It means your soul has realized the old map no longer works." The next morning, Elias awoke at the edge of the forest. The town laid before him, exactly as it always had. The same roads, the same buildings, the same life. Nothing had changed, and yet everything had. Because for the first time, he no longer believed he needed to solve his entire future before taking the next step. He no longer demanded certainty before moving. He no longer treated every choice as permanent. So instead, he walked, curious, present, open, like a traveler learning to trust the river. And whenever doubt returned, as it sometimes did, he remembered the words from the empty mirror. "You are not lost. You are becoming." And there's a great difference between the two. And perhaps, as you listen carefully, you may discover that some part of you already knew this. Perhaps the feeling of being lost is not a sign that you have wandered too far. Perhaps it is the moment before a deeper understanding arrives. The moment when the old map begins to fade. The moment when life gently asks you to stop searching for certainty and start trusting the journey. Because sometimes the forest appears only when you're ready, and sometimes the path vanishes, so that you can finally learn how to walk. And now, before we continue any further, there's nothing you need to solve, nothing you need to figure out, nothing you need to become. For just a little while, you can set all that down. The questions, the searching, the wondering, the endless effort of trying to know exactly where you are going. You can allow all of it to rest. And as you listen, simply notice the place where you are right now. Notice the surface beneath you. Notice the air around you. Notice the gentle rhythm of your breathing. There's no special way to breathe. No correct way. just allow your breathing to happen as it already knows how. In and out. In and out. Like waves arriving on a quiet shore. And perhaps, as you continue listening, you can imagine yourself once again standing at the edge of that mysterious forest. The Forest of Vanishing Paths. Not because you must enter it, not because there's anything waiting to be found, but simply because it feels peaceful there. The silver leaves, the quiet air, the lantern swaying softly overhead. And as you stand there, you notice something curious. The forest is different now. Before, you entered searching for answers. Now, you enter carrying nothing at all. No expectations. No destination. Only awareness. And with each slow breath in, you begin walking. One gentle step, then another, and another. Each step allowing your body to settle a little more deeply. Each step allowing your thoughts to become a little softer. Not disappearing, simply becoming less urgent, like distant voices carried away by the wind. And perhaps you notice that the lanterns above seem brighter tonight, their golden light drifting through the branches, their glow touching the path before you. And with every lantern you pass, you allow another layer of effort to melt away. The effort of needing to know. The effort of needing certainty. The effort of needing to control every outcome. Just for now, just for these moments, you can let those things rest. And the deeper you rest, the easier it becomes. The easier it becomes, the deeper you rest. A natural rhythm, like breathing, like drifting, like floating downstream on a calm river. And as you continue along the forest path, you notice a clearing ahead. A beautiful clearing. Quiet, still, safe. At the center stands a large stone bench, smooth with age, bathed in soft moonlight. You walk toward it slowly and sit. And as you sit there, you realize something. You have nowhere else to be. Nothing else to do. No destination waiting. No race to win. No problem requiring your attention. Only this moment, this breath, this experience. And perhaps that realization feels surprisingly comfortable, because for so long the mind has been trying to travel ahead, trying to predict, trying to prepare, trying to arrive. And now, for the first time in a while, it can simply be here. The moon above, the lantern swaying, the gentle stillness surrounding everything. And as you remain there, You may notice how relaxation often arrives in its own way. Perhaps first in the muscles around the eyes. Those small muscles that work so hard every day. Allowing them to soften, to loosen, to rest. And as they rest, perhaps the jaw softens too. The neck, the shoulders, the chest, the arms, the hands, not forcing anything, simply allowing, giving permission, letting gravity do what gravity has always known how to do. And perhaps now, you become aware of the sounds around you. Maybe distant sounds, nearby sounds, or even the quiet spaces between sounds. And instead of distracting you, every sound becomes part of the experience. Every sound helping you settle even more comfortably. Like the forest welcoming everything exactly as it is. Nothing excluded. Nothing resisted. Everything allowed. And as your awareness deepens, imagine one of those lanterns slowly floating down from the branches above, drifting towards you until it comes to rest in your hands. A beautiful lantern, warm and steady. And inside this lantern, there is a gentle light. A light representing acceptance. Not acceptance of giving up, acceptance of this moment. Acceptance of where you are. Acceptance of who you are becoming. And as you hold that lantern, notice how calm the light remains. It does not rush. It does not worry. It does not demand answers. It simply shines, steady, patient, certain of its own nature. And perhaps some part of you realizes you have always carried this light, even during the moment you felt lost, even during uncertainty, even during confusion. The light was never absent, only overlooked, because searching often keeps us looking outward, while peace often waits quietly within. And so, allow yourself to rest with that understanding. Nothing to force, nothing to achieve, nothing to prove, just resting like the forest itself, timeless, patient, still. And now imagine that with every breath, the lantern grows a little warmer, a little brighter, not overwhelming, just enough to illuminate the path immediately before you. And that is all. Not the entire journey, not the next year, not the next decade, only the next step, and somehow that feels sufficient. Because life has never required you to see the whole path, only the piece directly ahead Only this moment, only now. And as you continue resting here, you may discover a pleasant sense of spaciousness, as though your thoughts are clouds drifting across a wide open sky. No need to chase them. No need to stop them. Simply allow them to pass, knowing that the sky remains unchanged, vast, open, peaceful. And perhaps you begin noticing that same spaciousness within yourself, a quiet place beneath the noise, beneath the searching, beneath the uncertainty. A place that has always been there, waiting patiently. A place untouched by success or failure. A place untouched by wrong turns or right turns. A place that simply exists, whole, complete, present. And for a little while longer, you can remain here, resting in the clearing, beneath the lanterns, holding the gentle light of acceptance, allowing your body to relax, allowing your mind to drift, allowing yourself to experience the rare comfort of not needing to become anything at all, only being, only breathing, only resting. And perhaps, deep within, you can remember something simple. You do not need to know exactly where the path leads. You do not need to have every answer. You do not need to carry the entire future. You only need this moment, this breath, this step, and that is enough, more than enough. For now, for this peaceful moment, for this quiet place beneath the lanterns, where nothing is missing and nothing needs to be added. Only stillness, only presence, only the gentle glow of the light you have carried all along.
Have you ever watched the world keep moving while you're standing at a crossroads in the rain? Everyone seems certain where they're going, while you're carrying questions and the weight of change. You chased horizons through 1,000 seasons, turned down roads that glittered in the light. Every time you thought you'd found the answer, it disappeared somewhere into the night. You wondered if you were broken, if everyone knew something you didn't know. You kept searching for a destination, never realizing you were meant to grow. And every dream you left behind, every version of your name, wasn't failure in disguise. It was teaching you to change. You are not lost, you are becoming. made of vanishing pathways, under lanterns hanging high above the trees. You found masks of who you thought you should be, and all the expectations you tried to keep. The person everyone wanted, the life that looked good from the outside, the perfect future you imagined, the endless need to somehow get it right. But at the top of all those mirrors, where 1,000 different futures came and went, you found an empty space waiting for a truth that changed everything. No final version waits ahead, no perfect map exists to find. Life is written while you're walking, one brave step at a time. You are not lost, you are becoming. You are not late, you're unfolding. Like a river finding oceans it has never seen before. Every path that disappeared still carried you somewhere important. You are not lost, you are becoming more. The road was never meant to last forever. Some journeys end because they've done their part. Not every door that closes is rejection. Some are guiding you back to your heart. Maybe all this time, the thing you called confusion was simply transformation, where another fate. Maybe what felt like falling apart was life creating space. You are not lost, you are becoming. You are not broken, you're awakening. Like the dawn that slowly rises after holding on tonight. Every wrong turn that you feared helped reveal who you are underneath it all. You are not lost, you are becoming. So when the old map fades away and certainty is nowhere to be found, remember this: the path may vanish beneath your feet, but that doesn't mean you're lost. It means you're finally learning how to trust the ground. And somewhere deep inside, a quiet voice still whispers, you are not lost, you are becoming. Based on the story in your uploaded file.
So here are the key meanings of the story. Number 1, feeling lost is often a sign of growth. The story's primary message is that feeling lost is not necessarily a problem to solve. It is often a transition. Just as a caterpillar would feel lost inside a cocoon, people often feel most uncertain when they are becoming someone new. The old identity no longer fits. The new identity has not yet emerged. The discomfort comes from transformation, not failure. Key lesson: sometimes confusion is evidence that growth is happening. Number 2, there is no perfect path. Elias spends years believing there must be one correct road, one perfect decision, one ideal future. The forest teaches him that life is not designed this way. Most choices are not right or wrong. They are simply different experiences that shape who we become. Key lesson: life is less about finding the perfect path and more about walking a path fully. Number 3, many people are searching for certainty that does not exist. The story challenges a common illusion, the belief that other people have everything figured out. The truth is that most people are navigating uncertainty. Some hide it better than others. The search for absolute certainty can become a prison. Key lesson: confidence is often the willingness to move forward despite uncertainty. Number 4, you must let old versions of yourself die. The discarded marks, crowns, and swords symbolizes identities that no longer serve us. Growth requires release. You cannot become someone new while clinging to every version of who you used to be. This can include old ambitions, old relationships, old beliefs, old self-images. Key listen: transformation always involves letting go. Number 5, the person you thought you had to become may not be you. One of the deepest themes is the difference between authentic desire and borrowed desire. Many people spend years pursuing goals they inherited from parents, society, friends, culture. The forest is full of abandoned identities because many were never truly ours. Key lesson: a life that looks successful can still feel empty if it is built around someone else's expectations. Number 6, every path has value, even if it ends. Elias initially sees disappearing paths as failures. Later he realized they serve a purpose: a relationship that ends, a career that changes, a dream that evolves. These experiences are not wasted simply because they do not last forever. Key lesson: a path does not need to be permanent to be meaningful. Number 7, the greatest suffering comes from comparing reality to imagined lives. The mirror tower is filled with alternate versions of Elias. This reflects a modern struggle. Comparing your real life to the countless lives you could have lived. Many people suffer not because their life is bad, but because they are haunted by possibilities. Key lesson: peace comes when you stop measuring your life against imagined versions of yourself. Number 8, you are not a fixed thing. The empty mirror delivers the story's most important revelation. There is no final version of Elias waiting to be discovered. Human beings are not finished products. We are processes. We evolve, we adapt, we change. The search for permanent identity often creates suffering because life itself is movement. Key lesson: you are not a destination. You are a journey. Number 9, wisdom appears when control fails. The keeper of lost things appear only after Elias exhausts himself. This symbolizes a psychological truth. Real insight often arrives after struggle, after plans collapse, after certainty breaks. When the mind finally stops forcing answers, deeper understandings can emerge. Key lesson: sometimes the breakthrough arrives only after surrender. And number 10, you are becoming, not failing. Everything in the story ultimately points towards this realization. At the beginning, Elias interprets uncertainty as evidence that something is wrong with him. At the end, he understands that uncertainty is often a natural part of becoming. This changes everything, because once uncertainty stops meaning failure, it becomes possibility. Key lesson: the fact that you don't know exactly who you are becoming does not mean you are lost. It may mean you are growing into a larger life than you can currently see. And as the story comes to an end, perhaps there's one final question worth carrying with you. What if the thing you have been calling being lost was never the absence of the path at all? What if it was simply the moment before the next lantern appeared? Because somewhere tonight, beneath all the questions, beneath all the uncertainty, beneath all the pressure to have everything figured out, there is a quieter truth waiting patiently, a truth that asks for nothing, a truth that does not demand certainty before it allows peace. And maybe, just maybe, the person you're becoming is already walking towards you. With every choice you make, with every lesson you learn, with every path that appears, and every path that disappears. So, as you leave the forest of vanishing paths, carry this thought gently. You do not need to see the entire journey. You do not need to know every answer. You do not need to become perfect before you begin. You only need enough light for the next step. And perhaps tonight, that light is already closer than you think. So until our paths cross again, keep walking, keep trusting, keep becoming. Because the forest was never trying to show you where to go. It was trying to show you who has been walking all along. What if the feeling lost isn't a sign that you are failing, but a sign that you are becoming? Until next time, be well.